National anthem. 1, 2, go.
Arise, O compatriot, obey to Salam with love of our heroes past. To serve with thanks and freedom is our.
Executive Order number 5. President, then as the Civil Service Council for full implementation of the and to give us introduction. Members that do not have enough. The full implementation in 2018. Mr. President, God blessed our dear nation with enormous resources. But in our bid to utilize these resources, we have not actually, as a nation, fully exploited any of these resources. If we take even the crude oil and natural gas that for too long remained the major source of our foreign exchange earnings and even revenue for government, the approach was to act as rent collectors. We never showed interest in the technologies that will help us as a nation to exploit, these resources. This can be seen clearly with our refineries. We built the first refinery in the 1960s, and Mr. President, as Minister in charge of petroleum, though then it was called Commissioner, you built 2 of our other major refineries. And today, which is 50 to 60 years after the first refinery was built, if you want to build a refinery as is being built now in Lagos, you need foreign expertise. Both the design, the construction, everything by foreigners. We have built power plants. If we want to build any power plant in the country, again, today, we bring in foreigners. Our dams, the same. Mr. President, no nation can ever develop in doing this. The side effects will be that we will not be in a position to have jobs for our people who want to work. Because in essence, what it means is that whatever we need, we will be looking for others to bring it into our country. So in the process, we'll be exporting even jobs and so much revenue. For example, today, Mr. President, the countries that have the largest refineries are not those that have crude oil. For example, India. Because the money they make from refining crude oil is enough even for them to buy the crude oil from other countries. Because if you just refine, if you only use your petrol, your diesel, your kerosene, there are so many other components that give lots of resources to the nation that we're losing out from. So, Mr. President, the executive order number 5 is meant to solve this problem. It's meant to halt this. It's meant to make Nigeria take full possession of our resources, add the necessary value that should be added, and we are very lucky that we have some of the brightest of human beings in the world. And any Americans know this, the Chinese, they know this, the Indians, they know this. So there is no reason why we cannot do that. So the Presidential Executive Order number 5, in essence, is placing our manufacturers, our entrepreneurs, our professionals at the very center of economic activity. And we are very happy that what you are doing today will now make it possible for it to be fully implemented. And Mr. President, the other day when you talked to us, we could see your serious concern. It showed on your face, even in your eyes. These days we are all masked, but we can see eyes and faces. You know, how happy you were that you were able to make sure that all security documents, you know, that we use are now printed and produced in Nigeria. This is, you know, one of the benefits of this, you know, this executive order. So, Mr. President, we really thank you so much, and we know that you have the political will, because to make this happen demands tremendous political will, because there are so many people who are benefiting from the inefficiencies that are taking place as a result of this negligence. So it requires tremendous political will to overcome all this and make it possible for us to do that which is right for our country. So we thank you, Mr. President.
Today's inauguration of the Presidential Monitoring and Evaluation Council for the full implementation of the Presidential Executive Order number 5 for planning and execution of Nigerian content in contracts, science, engineering, and technology marks an important moment in our desire to improve and expand indigenous capacity. Executive Order number 5 is aimed at placing Nigerian professionals and manufacturers at the center of the Nigerian economy. It is an instrument of this administration to midwife a new beginning that will transform our economy from resource-based to a knowledge-based that is innovation-driven. Hence, the inauguration of the Monitoring and Evaluation Council could not have come at a better time than now. As a result of this Executive Order number 5, the following will be promoted. A. The MDAs shall engage indigenous professionals in the planning, design, and execution of national projects. Consideration shall only be given to foreign professionals where it is certified by the appropriate authority that such expertise is not available in Nigeria. The federal government shall introduce margin of reference in national competitive bidding in contracts, in the evaluation of tenders from indigenous suppliers of goods manufactured locally over foreign goods. B. All MDAs shall ensure that any professional practicing in Nigeria must be duly registered with the appropriate regulatory body in Nigeria. C. All MDAs shall ensure that for all consultancy contracts awarded to foreign companies, engineering drawings, necessary calculations, design, etc., are made available to their corresponding Nigerian partners, including arrangement with small and medium enterprises as partners towards local production of needed materials. D. Suppliers and contractors under national competitive bidding process shall disclose local material processed or unprocessed where available and needed for the execution of projects. E. Designs for all contracts, programs, projects, etc. shall be in English language before signing such contracts. F. The Ministry of Interior shall ensure that the expatriate quota for projects, contracts, and programs are granted according to the provisions of the Immigration Act and other relevant laws. This will apply where qualifications and competence of Nigerian nationals are not available or cannot be ascertained, which shall be contingent on training such a number of persons as may be required for the execution of the contract or project. The Prudential Monitoring Evaluation Council, with Mr. President as chairman, will oversee the general implementation. The Secretary is domiciled as the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, supported by the Strategy Implementation Task Force for Presidential Executive Order 5, will facilitate the administration, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation of the provisions of Executive Order No. 5 and provide prompt reports to Council. I direct the Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation to work with the Office of the Honorable Minister of Justice and the Attorney General of the Federation to facilitate the early passage of the bill for the order at the National Assembly in line with the decisions of the Federal Executive Council. The federal government will do its utmost to ensure that Executive Order No. 5 is fully implemented, as we are sure that the full implementation will create wealth, strengthen our economy, reduce poverty, and provide employment for our people. Fellow Nigerians, I wish to formally inaugurate the Prudential Monitoring and Evaluation Council for the full implementation of the Prudential Executive Order 5 for planning and execution of Nigerian content in contracts, science, engineering, and technology. And God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.